In today's tutorial, you are going to be learning how to make this stylish butterfly bubu gown you can see right there on the thumbnail. So without explaining much, you already know what we are about to draft out. We are making use of 3 yards of fabric for this tutorial. 1.5 yards for the front and 1.5 yards for the back, and we are going to be cutting this together. I've already folded. To know the amount of fabric you're going to be folding, you're going to use the biggest part of your measurement, which is our hip. So from there, we are going to start inputting our vertical measurement. We started by marking out the shoulder line, and from there we went down to insert the bust points, the waistline, the hip line, and down to the hem of this dress. So for the length of the dress, I'm going to be making use of 58 inches. After I input down, I went ahead to add up 1 inch, which is for the hemming allowance. Now again, I also removed my zipper allowance, which I used 2 inches. Okay, so from there I'm going to start inputting my horizontal measurements. So for the sleeve length, I'm going to measure it by placing my tape at the middle of my neckline, and then extending my arm forward. I'm going to measure the length, my desired length for my sleeve, and here I'm going to be using 19 inches. After that, go down by 10 inches, which would be our chest line, and from there we go ahead and square out the lines. Connect the lines properly well, and after that we start inputting our measurements. I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame, cause I came to the game. Now for my neck line, I'm going to be making use of 4 inches for the width, and then for the depth I'm going to also make use of 4 inches. That would be for the front, and for the back I'm going to making use of 1.5 inches. Now connect the lines, and using your curved ruler, connect your neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the front neckline, which you can see me doing right there, and after that I'm going to connect my back neckline. Now from there I'm going to take down from my shoulder line 1 inch, and then I'm going to connect to the neck line. This would be my shoulder slope. Now I'm going to insert 1/2 inch for my shoulder seam allowance. And after that I will go ahead and connect the lines. Now after that, go ahead and divide all your round circumference by 4 and input what you got. So I went ahead and divided my bust circumference, my waist circumference, and the hip measurements by 4, and then input them. Remember to also add 1 inch, which would be for your ease allowance. Except you want this dress to be very tight, you can go ahead and leave it that way. You can also make use of 1/2 inch, that way it won't be that free. But as you can see, I made use of 1 inch, and I went ahead to slightly curve my line from the knee length up to the shoulder line. Okay, so whatever I have under my knee line, that is what I'm also going to insert on the hemline. So that is what you can see me doing right there. So you can see how I'm slightly curving this without making this. So make sure that your lines are not straight. Make sure that you curve this the way I curved mine. Okay, that way that is the butterfly effect that we are giving to this dress. So after that, I went ahead to mark out my zipper allowance, which I made use of 1.5 inches. That you can see me inputting right there. So after this, I went ahead to use my straight ruler to connect the lines. Okay, so now guys, remember I told you that okay, I think I never mentioned it, this dress is going to also have a slit at the back. So this way, from I will measure from the hem up to 18 inches. That is where I want my slits to start from, or you could make use of your knee length. Okay, so for here I made use of my knee length, and that would be where my slit opening is going to start from. Now after that, I went ahead to start cutting out my dress. So I started by cutting out the back first, the back neckline, and then I went ahead. Please take note of this notch that I'm trying to put right now. I went ahead to notch, and my notch, I placed it at the chest point. So after that, I went ahead to cut out my front neckline and then slashed my zipper allowance. So now you guys, this is our butterfly dress. We have already finished cutting this out. Next, I will go ahead and cut out the facing. I'll first cut out the facing for the front, and after that I would cut out the facing for the back also. Okay, so what you can see me put marking trying to trace out right there is my shape. Okay, but remember that this is the back and we are not going to shape at the back, we are going to input that shape right at the front. Okay, so take note of that. So now we went ahead to cut out our facing. So this is what our dress looks like. Now go ahead and cut out facing for your neck, which we'll be using to turn our neckline. So I went ahead to cut out that for my front neckline, and this is what you can see me doing right there. After I traced out the shape of my neckline, I went ahead from the tip of that neck, I went ahead to extend my tape down to 3 inches. I did that across the entire neckline and traced what I have there. So after I did this for both the front and the back, this is what I have. I'll go ahead and use my wheel machine to secure the rough edges. Now we have gotten to the sewing process. First off, sew your facing to your neckline for both front and back, and after that you top stitch. So I will do this for both the front and the back. I've already gone ahead to do that for the front. So right here you can see me doing also the same thing to the back neckline. So after we must have done this, we go ahead and join our shoulders together. Now we are done with the facing. This is the shoulder. I'm going to go ahead and use 1/2 inch to join our shoulders together. So to join the shoulder, you are going to start by opening up the facing, and then right from the facing you join straight down to the sleeve length. So we are going to go ahead and do that to the other parts. Tired eyes need a cup of blend, that's right. In the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb. A new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time. I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never cap in space. I won't stop till I hear him say. Remember to use half an inch to do this. Don't exceed that, please. So after I must have finished joining my shoulders, I'll go ahead and also use my weaving machine to weave this so that it will come out very neat. And then using my hemming gum, I'm going to hem down the neck, the facing to my dress. So after I did that, I went ahead to mark out my zipper allowance, which I used 1.5 inches, and then I went ahead to use a loose stitch to sew from the shoulder down to 19 inches, and then I back stitch, turning my stitches to the tightest stitch. I would sew down to where I have my slit opening. Now I am done with that, and as you can see, this is my slit opening. All right, I'll go ahead and use hemming gum to hold that down, and from there you can see the pieces I cut out right there on the table. So remember the notch I told you I made right at the chest point. So this is where the notch comes in, and that would serve um as my guide to fixing my sleeve. Okay, so I've already done what I wanted to do for the one part of the sleeve. I'll go ahead and explain what I did right on the other side. So from one notch to the other notch, I'm going to go ahead and make a gathered effect right there, and then I would gather them together, and then using these pieces that I cut out, remember I cut that pieces on folds, meaning that the hem of that sleeve is to be on fold while you cut. So, and the length of that piece is 3.5 inches. So after I must have joined to the main dress, what would remain is 3 inches. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to do. And remember not to make one place fuller than the other, so do this carefully well. Okay, so this is what you can see me doing right there. So after I must have finished that, what I will do next is to go ahead and then, so you can see what we have there. I'll go ahead and weave the rough edge and then come back to the sewing machine and then join my side seam together. As you can see me doing right there, I'm trying to join my side seam. I will do that for both sides, and then I will hem the down part of my dress. Okay, so right now you can see me hemming the down parts, and I hem this using 1/2 inch, and that was after I weaved the down part of the dress. But if you don't want to weave yours, go ahead and use 1 inch to hem yours, which you will do by folding up 1/2 inch, and after that fold again by 1/2 inch. So you guys, looking at the what I have there, you can see that our dress is gradually coming to reality. It's taking shape. So what I did was to um place my fabric and then note the middle of my dress, and from there I went ahead to trace out my shape. So what I did was to trace out my shape until the hip point. Okay, so my round bust measurements, I marked it out, and then my round waist measurement, I marked it out, and also did the same to the hip measurements. So I connected these lines to that part of the curved side of my dress, you can see. So you guys just glue your eye to this screen, and you will definitely understand what I actually did there. So I went ahead to stitch my shape. You can see that I didn't extend this downward, so my shape, I actually stopped at that curved side of my dress. Okay, so that would give that a butterfly shape, like a flying angel. To get the points. So you guys, that would bring us to the end of this tutorial, and as you can see, after that I went ahead to fix my zip. If you enjoy every bit of this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up, like this video, that will help my video to grow faster, please you guys. And now look at what we have there. Bye you guys.